I have recently received a package in the mail the other day with some freight cars I was very excited to get my hands on, especially since my coiled steel car roster was lacking for a while up until now. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the ScaleTrains Rivet Counter Thrall 48-foot 2-hood coil steel car and the ScaleTrains Rivet Counter Thrall-Trinity 42-foot coiled steel cars in N scale. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Counting the Rivets. I hope everyone's holidays and New Year's are going well. This episode is an exciting one because this is the first time in the series that I'll be reviewing a ScaleTrains product. I have loved the quality of ScaleTrains models ever since I first heard about them when I returned to the hobby a few years ago. I won't take any more of your time with introductory stuff though, so let's get this review underway. Between the 1980s and 1990s, Thrall Car Manufacturing introduced the 42 and 48-foot coil steel cars, which was the solution to a problem many manufacturing jobs, from machinery to automobiles, as well as railroads themselves had in efficiently transporting large amounts of steel. These cars shared many commonalities to each other, including the basic body construction and jack pad design. The original Thrall coil cars were made with a capacity of 100 tons, and later models were made with a 125-ton capacity. Thrall Manufacturing was bought by Trinity Industries in 2001. Since the acquisition, Trinity continued building these cars, with the latest deliveries being made in 2012. These cars can still be seen today in both mixed manifests and unit coil trains all over the US. Both the 42-foot and 48-foot models feature separate positionable coil steel load dividers, 36-inch machined metal wheels capable of use on code 55, 70, and 80 track, ASF ride control trucks with finely rendered raised foundry data, microtrains compatible body-mounted semi-scale standard Type E knuckle couplers, legible printing and lettering even under magnification, simulated wood interior floor using hand-applied wash, complete underbody brake system with at least 10 separately applied parts including the air reservoir, control valve, retainer valve, and wireform plumbing, as well as many more features. In this first run of 42-foot coil steel cars, I only bought the ones with the CHTT road name, as it is a road name used by the Union Pacific Railroad, which is one of the dominant Class 1 railroads on my planned layout. If you want to get any of the 42-foot coil cars that remain from the first run, you'll need to act pretty fast. At $34.99 per car, there is a limited availability from ScaleTrains of the Indiana Harbor Belt, Union Pacific CHTT, Norfolk Southern, and Conrail coil cars. And while they are sold out at ScaleTrains, you can still get both the CSX and the Canadian Pacific coil cars, as well as the others previously mentioned, from Lombard Hobbies at the same price. There is also a second run that was announced last September that you may still be able to pre-order, though the guaranteed pre-order date has long since passed. This run includes the following roads: Union Pacific, Norfolk Southern, Kansas City Southern, Ferromex, CSX, and CIT Group, or Capital Finance, otherwise known as CIGX. That's enough on the 42-foot cars for the time being. Now we'll take a look at the 48-foot cars. While I didn't get all of the cars ScaleTrains had on offer in this run, I did get considerably more. In this run, I was interested in and got all of the BNSF, Union Pacific, ATSF, and most of the mismatched hood variants they offered. All of these are still in stock at ScaleTrains, including the ones I didn't get: Norfolk and Western, both with black and gray hoods, CTRN, or Central of Tennessee Railway, and Illinois Central. All of the aforementioned coil cars are up for sale now at $39.99 per car, both on the ScaleTrains site and at Lombard Hobbies. Now I know why you're all here. You didn't come here for a breakdown of the car's history or a price analysis. You wanted to see if these cars actually live up to the reputation that the Rivet Counter series is known for. That's coming up now. What we have in front of us here is one of the coil cars I bought that is yet to leave its case. This one is the other BNSF coil car with mismatched hoods, this one having an old Burlington Northern hood rather than the Santa Fe hood. Like most other freight cars from ScaleTrains, first off is this cardboard sleeve that's sort of cocooning the jewel case within. You'll slide that out of the way and you can lift the lid off the jewel case. After that, there's a little piece of tape on either side of this protective plastic cover. I only remove one of the pieces of tape so that the other acts as a sort of hinge for the cover. That way I don't have to take it off entirely. Once that is removed and the cover is out of the way, all you need to do is just carefully remove the plastic wrap from around the car and remove the car and loads from the case. One thing that is important to note about the car is that it is extremely light when it's empty, so unless you're modeling Norfolk Southern, you'll want to run the empty ones towards the back of the train to prevent clotheslining your train on a sharp curve. Loading the car is very easy. All you need to do is drop the load in the position you want it to be. The loads provide the bulk of the weight for the cars, so if you run them loaded, you'll have very little if any difficulty with them on the rails. Once the loads are in the position you want, if you want to place a hood on top, that is equally as easy. You just need to drop them in place. You'll know you did it right as the hoods are meant to fit perfectly around the outer edge of the car. Now, if you do want to use the coil load dividers, which are in the box underneath the plastic shell, that's easy too, but it can be a little bothersome simply because of the finer motor skills naturally needed for N-scale models compared to HO scale models. It's a little hard to make out here, but you can see 4 tiny holes on either side of the car where the dividers lock into place. All you need to do if you have the fine motor skills to do it, or the tools needed to assist you, is just slide the divider until the pegs on the divider line up with the holes on the car, and the divider should just fall into place. The dividers are spaced out in such a way that makes it so 2 loads can be placed on the outside of the car on top of the trucks, and 2 more can be placed on the center of the car. Next up, here is a roll test for these coil cars. I selected 4 of the BNSF cars to use for this test, and we'll be looking at both how well they roll, loaded and empty, and how good the couplers are at staying connected when the cars are jerked around. As expected, the cars rolled smoothly, both empty and loaded, and the couplers remained linked during the shake test. Of course, since I was not using the dividers, the load did shift under the hoods during the test, but unless you plan on giving your 4-year-old free reign of your model railroad, I don't see that being much of a concern, and if you are, I think you have more concerns than shifting loads. So with all that being said, what do I think of these cars? Well, I like them. I like them a lot. This car and the loads that come with it have amazing detail. I would say I'm surprised at the attention to detail, but if we're being honest, this is what Rivet Counter line is known for. That's not to say I'm not impressed though. These cars are amazing looking. They're built sturdy, and with a little bit of weathering, these cars will add a ton of realism to your layout. Just for fun, I compared this car to the last run of Atlas Masterline's 2-hood coil cars, and I mean, come on. There's just no comparison. I know this wasn't made from fancy BLMA tooling, but I know Atlas can do better than this. They do better than this with their single hood coil cars, which aren't that bad looking. But I know they can do better with the 2 hoods. The only major criticism I have, specifically with the single hood coil cars, is that I noticed a couple of them have bulging walkways as if they don't fit right and they kind of bow upwards. But it looks like that issue was fixed on the 2 hood cars, and I'm hoping that the next run of single hood cars have that same fix. Well, that's going to wrap up this review for both the ScaleTrains Rivet Counter 42-foot single hood and 48-foot dual hood coil cars. If anyone has suggestions on what I should review next, let me know in the comments. I do plan on making a review for the Atlas Masterline B40-8Ws. I'm just counting on my dad stumbling on and taking video of some Dash 8s back in my hometown, because they don't exist up here where I live. Alright everyone, take care and I'll see you in the next video.